Hi, I'm Dara. I'm going to define the phrase popular culture and as well as the Reddit website and how the two are interconnected.
I'm Logan, and I'm going to talk about what the founders were looking to accomplish when they were making the site. I'm also going to talk about what the site has become and how it distinguishes itself from other news websites.
I'm Justin, and I'd like to diverge a little from what we've been covering and talk about some of the more negative components of Reddit and social media in general, specifically confirmation bias, and how that could contribute to the population having less information than they would otherwise have from more traditional outlets.
First of all, I would like to define the phrase popular culture. The word popular comes from the Latin word populus, which means simply people. The word culture is a way that people are grouped together based on their common behaviors, beliefs, and structures. Therefore, populus is the accumulated store of cultural products, such as music, art, literature, fashion, dance, film, and television, and radio that are consumed primarily by non-elite groups, such as the working, lower, and middle class. There are two opposing sociological arguments in relation to the popular culture. One is that the popular culture is used by elites to control those below them because it dulls people's minds, making them passive and easy to control. The second argument is just the opposite. The popular culture is the vehicle for rebellion against the culture of dominant groups. Here's the question: what is Reddit in terms of popular culture? Reddit is an entertainment, social networking service, and news website where registered community members can submit content such as text posts or direct links. Only registered users can then vote submissions up or down to organize the post and determine their position on the site's page. Content entries are organized by areas of interest called subreddit. We will discuss more about the significance of subreddits later. The website is known for its open nature and diverse user community that generate its content. Its demographics allow for wide-ranging subject areas or main subreddits that receive much attention, as well as the ability for smaller subreddits to serve more niche purposes. For example, the University of Subreddit, a subreddit that exists to communally teach, emerged from the ability to enter and leave the online classroom at will, and classes ranging from computer science to music to fine art there exist. The answer to the question, what is Reddit in terms of popular culture, is Reddit represents a movement away from the centralized control of elites and empowers citizens to produce their own culture. It is a rebellion against the culture of dominant groups and not driven by them. Reddit represents many aspects of popular culture. For example, content is exclusively user-submitted and users are essentially editors, and the editorial process is bottom-up, so there's no central authority censoring the content. The website is completely open access.
Here's a quick clip of the founders of Reddit, Alexis Ohanian and Steve Huffman, describing what exactly their thought process was when they began developing the site.
It seemed like the internet was going to be the new front page, a broader one, because content was being created, even back in 2005, by such a broad array of sources that no one source could really lay claim to that unless it aggregated everything. We were basically going to take the mechanisms of delicious, the most popular things are the things that lots of people are submitting, and combine that with Slashdot, which actually had good content. Paul crystallized that phrase during a discussion. He was like, that's it. You guys need to build the front page of the web.
Now, the two websites mentioned by Steve Huffman were Diglicious.com and Slashdot.org, both of which are sites that constantly stream new content that trends on top internet forums and major news websites around the world. But what these two websites lacked, and what the founders were looking to expand upon, was an interactive internet community that subscribes to the website and collaboratively participates in determining the relative popularity of trending internet information. essentially offering an ever-changing real-time digital newspaper. There are 2.45 million Redditors. Each one subscribes for free and remains anonymous by creating an irrelevant username from which to cast votes and post information, contributing their own editorial standards. In addition, the information is 100% accessible to anyone who visits the site, not only those who subscribe. In 2013, there were 56 billion page views, and within this, 6.7 billion votes were cast as either an upvote or downvote, as mentioned before. The rate in which a post receives upvotes determines its standing relative to other posts. The ones that receive the most upvotes earn the right of being published in the front page of Reddit. Quite the accomplishment for the aspiring Redditor. The voting system of Reddit gives it the democratic organization that constitutes one of the main facets that differentiates it from the elite-controlled distribution of popular culture. Though there are exceptions to what make it to the front page in crisis situations, such as the search for the Boston Marathon bomber, the overseers of Reddit will automatically move a post to the #1 position for ample attention. There was in fact a collaborative effort with the FBI shortly after the bombing to attempt to identify the bomber. The Reddit community spans over 190 countries and shows vast differences in interests. These differences in interests take the form of over 7,000 different subreddits that in their own way form Reddit into an expansive internet community that can sometimes be abrasive to the most innocent of posts, but also go to dire straits to help those in need physically, financially, and emotionally. The 4 subreddits that we use as examples of this are Our Food Pantry, Random Acts of Pizza, Assistance, and Suicide Watch. Our Food Pantry can be utilized to send vast amounts of cheap but plentiful amounts of canned foods or other imperishable items, much like a food drive held at an elementary school, but except it's hosted by the internet. Random Act of Pizza is a more comical version of this and inspires a localized support of those in need in the Reddit community. People who are going through a temporary rough patch, say after paying their monthly bills or find that they don't have enough for dinner that night, can post in this subreddit describing their situation and private message some proof of purpose to a happy provider that can order a pizza online to their home address. Our Assistance is the broadest subreddit associated with helping those in need, from giving advice on unclogging a sink to loaning out money to a person with extreme medical bills. This subreddit, of course, comes with a stricter system of providing proof of your situation for a loan of money. An example would be scanning a copy of a medical record or a monthly bill to a potential helper with a piece of paper signed and dated with the username. Our Suicide Watch is the most notable development in the Reddit culture. Its concepts are unprecedented as far as social community websites go. Its origins lie in a single user that was struggling with suicidal tendencies and found empowering relief in helping others through their own issues. It has since expanded into a sprawling forum for people with the confidence to talk out their problems with strangers that truly want to help themselves. There are, of course, very stringent guidelines to manners of helping those who may very well be teetering on the precipice of taking their own life. These 4 subreddits are just a few examples of how a phenomenon such as Reddit, that represents a real-time conduit of popular culture, can transcend the traditional boundaries of a social website by advocating a stranger helping stranger system driven by compassion for your fellow man. The remaining 7,000 plus subreddits not mentioned here represent the vast and varying interests of popular culture, from Our World News to Our Funny, for those who want to know what's going on anywhere in the world, or who simply want to laugh hysterically at their computer screen. There's even a subreddit for the University of Texas at Austin.
In conclusion, Reddit and other social media sites allow people to select what they want to listen to or read according to their interests. On the surface, this seems to be a positive thing. After all, they don't have the burden of an all-knowing editor who decides what is important and what is extraneous. However, the downside is that people can also shelter themselves from opposing views, and while they may become more knowledgeable of the things in which they already have interest, they become more vulnerable to hearing opposing arguments. In the past, a person picked up a local newspaper or a publication with national syndication and were exposed to a selection of entries which, on account of the national audience, had to be fairly inclusive and politically lean toward the center. Today, people can shelter themselves from the opinions of others and develop insular communities in which they are free to express their views, relatively free from the strongest criticisms, which often come from the other side of the ideological spectrum. This tendency is known as confirmation bias and is a well-known phenomenon in social psychology. In the age of the internet, it is possible for people to form communities around the most esoteric of interests, both positive and negative. On the more antisocial side, there are websites that range from catering to psychopaths, people without social conscience and widely acknowledged as social predators, to websites that assist people in cheating on their spouses. Conclusion: the potential for both good and bad has been greatly expanded by the internet, and the jury is still out on whether or not these newfound capacities will ultimately contribute to a better civil society. Though Reddit is hardly focused on political or ideological content, it does have some of these user-controlled elements and can certainly be used in a political capacity. Our bet is on this new format, internet communities, being a force for good. John Stuart Mill says it best: "The peculiar evil of silencing the expression of opinion is that it is robbing the human race, posterity as well as the existing generation. Those who dissent from the opinion still more than those who hold it. If the opinion is right, they are deprived of the opportunity of exchanging error for truth. If wrong, they lose what is almost as great a benefit, the clearer perception and livelier impression of truth, produced by its collision with error." Thank you.